And we're back for episode 7 of the Drum Iowa Network with your dear friend Myquan Bailey and my dear friend Ashley Kay.
Hello.
How you feeling this evening?
I am feeling good. Feeling good.
I'm realizing this is my routine question.
That's a good thing. To care about how people feel and giving them space to answer authentically. We tend to go good, but
Absolutely. All right. It is Irish Fest weekend here in Waterloo, Iowa. So wherever you are, you should be here in Waterloo, Iowa. One of our fun events of the summer. I would say that this event kind of wraps up the summer for Waterloo. We had my Waterloo days in July, and that was a smash. So big shout out to those folks who put that together. And now we're cruising into the August, the tail end of summer, and it's Irish Fest time. Do you have any Irish in you?
You know what? I do have a little bit. Yeah. Okay. And actually it's been funny because we went to a place that had like a really Celtic vibe, and I feel like there's something that awakens, and you're like, ooh, you get curious about more of ancestry, and yeah, there is a little bit.
Well, my last name is Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure there's some Irish in there.
Sure.
Definitely. Most certainly. Something I want to do a little bit of research on. I once saw a black man in a kilt.
Nice. Was that here at Irish Fest or was that elsewhere?
I'm not going to say where it was. I'm not going to say where because I might see this guy again.
And it wasn't you.
It was not. It was not Mr. Bailey. It was not Mr. Bailey, but he wore it well. And I must say, one thing about fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So he brought the style of a black man to a kilt.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to ever wear a kilt, I'm going to talk to him, and then he's going to school me on how to wear one. But I highly doubt that I'll be wearing a kilt anytime this lifetime.
Or, stay tuned. That's it.
No. I have absolutely no intentions of wearing a kilt anytime soon. But big shout out to all the fellas who do. They look very comfortable, especially, if you've had a few and you kind of just laying back. And that's the other question. Do guys wear underwear under those things? Did we know?
That's for them to know. I don't know.
So big things going on here this weekend. Like I said, Irish Fest here in Waterloo, downtown Waterloo. Drum Iowa, myself, we're going to be up in Decorah this weekend.
Such a beautiful place.
Yes, one of my favorite places in the state to be, especially this time of year. The trees are going to be nice and full. The trails are going to be nice. So it's going to be a whole vibe. So if you are in the northern Iowa region, if you are up in Decorah or Lime Springs, or if you're in the southern Minnesota area, southern tip of Wisconsin, then Decorah is where you need to be this weekend, because
absolutely,
we're going to be bringing all the drums out. We're going to be jamming. We're going to have a fire going, just some good vibes, And again, these are free will donation events. You don't have to worry about purchasing a ticket. You just bring yourself and bring your vibes and be ready for a good time. Looking forward to seeing you folks out. You got some stuff coming up as well.
I do. We have another wonderful event at the Cedar Valley Arboretum and Botanical Gardens, which I've just loved partnering with them this summer. It's been such a cool thing. This one is somatic yoga and meditation. And so with the somatics, we slow it down and it's real gentle, and we really focus in on how our body and mind and the emotions are all interconnected.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
So that's August 15th.
All right. And I'm sorry, what time was that again?
That will be at 6:30.
All right. 6:30 until?
6:30 until about 8.
Okay.
And you can feel free to come early and wander the gardens because it's such beautiful grounds. You can explore the orchard. There's prairie area, shade garden, and you'll walk by a whole row of lilies that they've planted every year for like 50 plus years. It's beautiful.
They come back on their own, or do they have to replant them?
Yep. No, those are perennial. They come back. Mm-hmm.
I always find that interesting. And you said that that's called perennial?
Yes. Yep. Perennial is the one that comes back annual. You plant annually. Now, it's easy to get mixed up.
Are rose bushes perennial?
Yes, I believe most are. You have to check hardiness level for, making sure that they're zoned to overwinter here and withstand our
I can dig it.
Yeah, but they are. The Rose Garden as well is another place. You saying that reminded me of our first healing session in the Cedar Valley Arboretum and Botanic Gardens, which was held in the Rose Garden. Beautiful spot too.
Wonderful spot. And like I said before, that was my first experience out there, your event.
Yeah, so cool.
I love it out there. I love the fact that you're doing it out there because you're able to expose that piece of nature to our community, because a lot of us, including myself, for a long time, are not even aware that it's out there, and it's open to the public.
Yes, yeah. And if you have kids, there's a great children's garden as well. So fun. It's over by Hawkeye Community College.
Yep. Hop, skip, and a jump if you're in Black Hawk County.
Yeah.
Actually, a hop, skip, and a jump if you're anywhere in Northeast Iowa, especially when it comes to nature. I mean, to me, the way I view it, some things are worth the drive.
Absolutely.
And, here in this part of the state, we have a lot of things accessible to us. And if it's a 45-minute drive, an hour drive, that's light work, So if you're an hour away and you want to come and see the Arboretum, come on down. It's definitely worth the drive, All right. So we have a very special guest.
That we do.
Very dear friend of ours.
Yes.
Mrs. Dani Eastman is in the building from Aya Dance Meditation.
She's so excited to have her here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of fun stuff. And I was checking you guys out, the chemistry between the two of you as we were warming up. And I must say, we got to get her back. She's, how some shows have a recurring guest.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Carson, like Johnny Carson had a few recurring guests of people that would come back to his show. I think Dani Eastman definitely needs to be our recurring guest. All right. So, hey, one of our local favorites, day one supporter of the Drum Iowa Project, Mrs. Dani Eastman is in the building. And we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and we're going to dive right on into it. Don't move that dial. All right. And we're back, joined by our dear friend, Ms. Dani Eastman. How you feeling this evening?
I'm feeling great. Lovely to be here. Thanks so much for having me, you guys.
So I know you got a lot going on with your projects, with the family. So you being able to scramble and get here on such short notice, because we put this together relatively quickly. And for you to kind of set it to the side, thank you so much.
Oh,
we
thanks.
appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, you guys. Absolutely. Means a lot.
Our path crossed, I'd say, about a year and some change ago.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you guys a story about drum culture and how drum culture brings people together from a variety of different backgrounds. At our very first Waterloo Drum Circle, we had a host of wonderful people show up. And it was the drum circle that helped me understand that this is something that we wanted to keep going strong for as long as we wanted to keep it going strong.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And you were there. When we got to drumming and got to talking afterwards, it was like, we have all of these things in common, a love for community, a love for wanting to bring things to the community that are positive. And then we both shared a love for drum. And then I got to know your family. Mm-hmm. And that's where things took a very interesting twist. Your husband, John, and I developed a friendship.
Yep.
Your son, Rowan, and I have also developed a relationship. And I probably would have never even met you guys if it weren't for drum culture.
Right.
If it weren't for a common love for drum culture, I probably would have never met you. I probably would have never met John. And then to lead into that, now I know your extended family.
You do. You know, like, my family from Arkansas.
Exactly. And it's like,
they follow Drum Iowa.
So.
And they're so excited for the next chance that they can drum with you.
And that, I can't say how that makes me feel. You know what I mean? I'm kind of getting choked up just thinking about it. How drum culture has the ability to bring people in from a variety of different backgrounds with a common love of drum. Mm-hmm. We don't get into politics. We don't get into hot button issues. I don't think we've ever talked about a hot button issue throughout our whole friendship.
Nope.
And I don't intend to. And the same with John. So again, one of the beautiful aspects of drum culture, and that's how we, got to know each other. And then from there, I started to learn about some of the wonderful things that you do for this community here in Waterloo, Cedar Falls, Black Hawk County. You hit me to Aya Dance Meditation. And I'm gonna pause and let you talk a little bit about Aya Dance Meditation and what it is and what it offers to our community.
At one level, it's about coming home to your body and just being really joyfully alive and connected with yourself, connected with the others in the room, connected with the music. It's really similar to drumming in that way. It's like you've got to just be in the moment with it, right? Like, and it's something that we're all doing together. It's one of the reasons why I love drum circles so much, because it's that same sort of thing where you get in unison together and people can be doing it their own way, but there's something bigger that we're creating together in the moment.
So let me ask, when you think about dance and you think about meditation, and I think about meditative movements, do you have to have any experience? Is it a lesson per se?
That's a great question. No experience of any kind is needed. In fact, I would say it's more about unlearning everything we've been taught about dance our whole lives and just getting back to that 5-year-old self where music's on and you just wiggle. Now, that said, it's not all free form the whole time. There's choreography woven in that's really simple movements that we'll do in unison together. And I love that so much because we have this experience of uniting. We all do this with our hands together, or we all go like this.
It's not a line dance.
It's not, well, but it's not, but there are moments where it's kind of similar. So like if you like line dancing, you might like this as well, because there are moments where like but usually some line dances are really complex. I would say this is even simpler and easier to follow than that when there is choreography. It'll be something really simple, but it unites us, right? It's not at all about how the dancing looks from the outside. It's all about just connecting with the joy of moving in a body and moving to music. So I feel like a lot of it is just disinhibiting from all the inhibitions that we've maybe accumulated, if anyone else has accumulated inhibitions that kept me from dancing. It's about wiggling free of all of those. And so the choreography helps us do that, helps us move our body in all sorts of ways to all kinds of music, express all different aspects of ourselves. We get to feel really strong. We get to feel soft. We get to feel goofy and silly and playful, and we get to feel serious. And so by moving in lots of different ways to lots of different kinds of music, we get to express and connect with all these different parts of ourselves. Ashley's done it with me before. What do you think?
That's such it has impacted my life so profoundly. And what's really cool is actually this is what brought us together too. My Karan is you talk about connection. Yeah. It was the first drum and dance on the Cedar that brought us together. But the experience of being there and feeling okay, this is a space where I can feel, I'm gonna get teary. This is a space where I can be who I am in this moment, feel all that I'm feeling in this moment. I know that there have been times that I have come back home to Aya, because it's coming back home to dance, which is coming back home to myself in a way. And when there's that depth of impact, it's so profound.
At the end of class, we'll have a time where we come back together in a circle, and it's just time to kind of, if you have anything that you noticed that you want to share, often the focus of the class will be an exploration into something where we're really kind of experimenting, what can we learn from ourselves from this experience in this hour. So it's a chance to kind of come back and learn from each other. And it's so cool to hear from people in the circle what they experienced and what their aha moment was and what it felt like to them. And it just makes my heart so happy to come together and have these shared experiences.
It's beautiful to watch you as well, watch everyone else in their purest of joy, right? But I think
it's so beautiful.
It really is. It really is. And I think it's cool to see people in all walks of life, right? Of all different fitness levels, like
all ages. We'll have kids all the way up to, I've had people who were in their mid 80s before dancing, like all in one experience together. And that's really beautiful.
And you're so
in itself.
welcoming of everyone.
Yeah. Anyone,
that just feels so good.
Anyone can do it. And it's guided. So if like the idea of dancing sounds scary, but there's a party that wants to do it, trust me, you can totally do this. I'll guide you every step of the way. It's a real mix of, again, simple movements with just these little bursts where you can then, just express yourself freely for just these little moments. And then we come back together into the next movement. And it's so beautiful.
Some of those freeform moments and freeing moments I love those. Those are some of my favorites. But also I look around and see such a beauty in those moments of feeling completely guided. It's so simple. You don't even have to think about it. You're just doing the steps, and that's where it gets so meditative, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have to ask, when we think about dance and we think about meditation and we think about meditative movements, how did this idea come across? What was your first experience when it came to this type of dance? Down this path.
Yeah. So as a kid, I loved to dance. I spent hours in our basement. We had like 3 CDs, and this was so long ago. It was like when CDs first came out. We had Michael Jackson, we had Whitney Houston, and we had this group called the Nylons. And I remember just over and over and over and over dancing to Whitney Houston songs in the basement. I would just go down there and dance and dance and dance. And I would make up little routines. For my sister to join in with me, or the neighbor kids to join in with me. And it was just what I love to do. Now, I forgot all about that for then a large portion of my life. I had loved to dance, and I always begged to take dance classes. And then in those dance classes that I started dance classes really kind of later in life. It was like late junior high, into high school, and took classes. And I loved it because I was dancing and dancing and dancing. I was learning all these techniques. I was learning all these moves, but those were all very, like, you did it certain ways. There were like right and wrong ways, and you had to hold your body certain ways, and you had to point your toes just right. And it was beautiful. But in like learning how to do those movements in those ways, I had kind of forgotten how to just let my body dance to music. I started to see dancing as being moves to do for an audience. Right. Whereas when I was little, I just danced because there was music on, and that's what my body wanted to do. And so then I got away from it for a long time. I went to college, wasn't dancing anymore in any way, got into fitness, which was kind of like the next sort of way that it was sort of dancing, but it was very structured. And as I was getting my degrees and all of that, I explored all the kinds of, and taught all the different kinds of fitness classes. But I was still just always searching and searching and searching. I didn't know what it was that I was hungry for. I didn't know what I was looking for. I tried different sports. I played rugby for a couple of years. I did boxing. I did all sorts of martial arts. I was still doing all these different fitness things. I got into yoga, and other mind-body practices. And then I got really into outdoorsy things. I kept trying, like searching. And then I was out on this couple month-long trip that I took to like figure out life. And I just felt so lost. It was a summer, I don't know, a few years into school. And I took my Bronco out west and went and climbed mountains and hiked canyons and thought I would figure things out there. And I happened upon this little tiny family-run like gym in Nederland, Colorado.
Okay.
And you know this story. I went in there because I needed a shower because I was going to go visit some friends, and I had been out camping for a long time, and so I paid to drop in and use their shower facilities, and they had a mind body dance class later that day, and I was looking at the flyer for it, and I was like, "Oh, it sounds kind of interesting, but I don't dance, I don't." And the owner talked me into coming back for that. And I went back later that evening to take that class. And it was just like, I need this in my life. I just immediately, I was like, how can I learn this from you? Can I come live here? I will babysit your kids. Will you teach me? What is this? What is this? And then I found out that there were these mind body classes, there were trainings and stuff all throughout all these different mind body dance practices in big cities, mostly primarily. And so then I got into training into some of those other modalities.
Okay.
And that was just like laser focus of like, I just need this in my life, this like joy of dancing in all these different ways, but in this like really present in it. And that where it's not for an audience.
So for all the folks at home and who are burning and curious about how to get in touch with you so that they can join Aya Dance Meditation and get involved, how would they do that?
So we have a website for it, ayadance.com. And there's also an email. I put out an email every week with like what our focus is of the week.
I'm part of your email group, by the way. And I have to say, you put a lot of time and effort and energy into your newsletters and keeping your folks up to speed with what's going on with you.
Yeah.
So even if you're not a social media person, I know I'm jumping in when I probably should.
Oh, no, please. Please do.
I know some of us are not into social media and all of that, but we get email and we may check YouTube for the videos that we like. Dani has a wonderful newsletter that she puts out very frequently so that all of the updated events and any changes and changes in venues or anything that's going on with Aya Dance Meditation, she sends out a wonderful email newsletter. So if you need that.
So the website's at ayadance.com, AYA dance, DANCE.com. And right there is a sign up for that newsletter. Okay. If you like, it comes out every Sunday morning. And even if, we have classes on Zoom. We have classes locally here in Cedar Falls. We have special events here in Waterloo. So lots of different options for joining in. We have the Facebook page, Aya Dance Meditation. We have a Facebook group, Aya Dance Community, I think is what that one's called. Any of those ways, if you'd want to be a part of it, hop on into a class, come on over for, a free trial anytime. Would love to share it with you. Aya is wide open, so we can incorporate all of those ways of moving, whether it's martial arts or whether it's a more structured dance or whether it's just this really intuitive kind of dancing. Like we can incorporate all those ways. It's like, it's the way, what I love about it so much is like, I feel like I get all the things that I love to do and all the ways of being in one little hour, it's just like, it's like, you get to feel, you like to connect with all these different parts of yourself.
I noticed another thing that you do that I like. You have theme dances.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, and we'll get to this in a second, but I went to your Halloween.
Yes. Yes.
And if she had the props, I thought I was going to get out of it because I didn't bring a prop.
Nope, we've got extra.
You had extra props, and I was like,
lots of costumes. Yeah. Lots of fun.
And there were some pictures that will keep hitting between us in the group. But yeah, you pulled me out of my element.
It's so fun.
As a guy, I have to jump in here. And men, I'm speaking to you now, and I'm speaking to myself as well, because it's not a gender thing. Tim gets out there.
Oh, he's the best.
Oh, okay. Tim,
so fun.
He was out there last week, and Travolta came to mind. He's like the John Travolta of Aya dance.
It's so great.
So Tim, I want to give you your roses, take my hat off to you. I want to be like you when I grow up in terms of dancing in front of others. Your way and your ability to kind of like, because you're talking us through it. It kind of has a yoga feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you're really guiding people through the movements. And then if you've done this with you enough, a couple of times, then you know, okay, this is what she's talking about. Then there's that familiarity.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten there yet, but I hope to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So all of my guys, maybe we can, mob up.
That's right.
Come. Aya dance meditation. Pooh, Sherman, I'm talking to all of you guys.
That's right.
Out there.
Come
all
dance.
All the friends.
It's so fun.
Come out and get outside of the element, and it's a.
When we're in the amphitheater, it can feel a little bit more like we're on display because there could be people watching. But when we're like, we have classes in the ballroom of the Cedar Falls Women's Club. That's our new location, and it is just incredible. It's just this beautiful ballroom that's perfect for Aya. And it's a closed room, it's just all of us who are in it. There are no spectators. There's no one watching you. You're just having a good time. It's so beautiful. Get to that place, and it takes people all different lengths of time, I'm sure, but to get to that place where we let go a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, we get more comfortable. And then we get to connect that much more by just letting ourselves be seen in our authenticity and getting to see each other. And it's just so beautiful.
And that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because when I think about conditioning, a lot of us were conditioned to do exactly the opposite of what you just said.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's hold in, it's do it right, it's make it look a certain way, it's sit still. And so it's absolutely all about unlearning all of that.
Yeah. For a lot of us, life has always been very scripted and choreographed. And to be able to go to a Aya dance, meditative dance event is something that takes courage for a lot of us. So I have to say, what you're bringing to the community is big. It's needed. It's appreciated. And if male and female, all of you guys in the community, and I think you have some events where you're welcoming the kids, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, you guys can tune in via Zoom. The Zoom dances are there in person at the Cedar Falls Women's Club.
Yep. But even though it's a women's club, everyone's welcome.
Okay.
It's they just have a really beautiful ballroom.
That was going to be my next question. What would the reaction be if I showed up to the...
Come on in.
Okay,
Come on
So
in. We will be excited to see
Dani,
you.
Guys.
I think if you look at the holistic wellness space as a whole, you see a lot of women, and it is cool to see more men, tuning in and kind of learning to unlearn, I guess, right?
And
what you've been taught to no, don't feel, you gotta, I mean, better than myself.
Absolutely.
But I think unlearning some of those societal structures that have been keeping you in a box and allowing you to, oh, wait, I can reconnect to my intuition. I can enjoy this and heal on a deeper level.
Absolutely. So while we're talking about gender, energy, and all that good stuff, it is a very female-dominated energy. And to see Tim flourish in the industry is very delightful to see.
Okay.
Awesome.
So Tim, big shout out. I wanted to give you your roses real quick. Keep doing what you're doing, and I can't wait to get to my first sound bowl.
Proceeds Fest.
Proceeds, and we're going to get to there in a minute. We're going to talk about that in a hot second. Proceeds Fest. But before we jump into Proceeds Fest, let's talk a little bit about Heal and Rise magazine. Can we talk about Heal and Rise magazine for a second?
Yes.
Right.
So I have begun an online magazine called Heal and Rise magazine.
And it's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It's a labor of love. I greatly enjoy writing. And even more than that, I enjoy sharing people's stories and amplifying the voices that are so worthy of being heard, which is everyone's really. But to put together photography and art of different forms and the words, different stories, and of course a little of my own poetry and writing involved has been such a pleasure. And so the summer issue is available now. You can read that at ashleykandy.com. But I'm also excitedly working on the fall issue, which will be out on the equinox, because it's always a solstice or equinox publishing. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And how do they access that? It's at your website.
Yes.
If you go.
Yep. So if you go to ashleykandy.com, in the menu there is a magazine, and you can go right to it, and it is free.
It's free and it's beautiful. And you guys, she's so good with words. She's just, it's really amazing.
What I like about what you bring to your pieces, first and foremost, the artwork is just spectacular. You know, as I was going through, it was very well crafted, very well done.
It reads like a magazine.
Absolutely.
You can flip
It's
the pages.
so professional looking, but has your vibe, which is just so loving and honest and heartfelt and genuine and sincere and lovely.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because you can definitely feel you coming out of your articles.
Yeah.
You know, so check it out, guys. You know, it's a good one. So very well done. If you guys are not privy, feel free to check out Ashley's Heal and Rise magazine. The summer edition is out. We're preparing for fall, and I can't wait. And we're back
We're back.
for our last segment of the show. Thanks again, ladies, for coming out.
Thanks so much for having us.
I know it's difficult with the hustle and the bustle. We all got everything going, and kudos to you both for the projects that you both got going. It's good stuff, you know, it's good stuff. And thanks for coming out and making time for the show. I really appreciate it. And I hope you all appreciate it as well. Just kind of cruising into some updates. Like I said a second ago, we will be up in Decorah this weekend, up at Will Baker Park from 6 to 8 p.m. for our Drumming with Decorah event. So if you're up in Decorah, or if you're up in the northern Iowa area, or the southern Minnesota area, or the southern Wisconsin area, feel free to pop in. We'd love to see you out. Then looking at August 9th, we have Proceeds Fest from August 9th until August 11th. And that takes me into my next topic, Proceeds Fest, August 9th through August 11th. And I'm not going to say anything about Proceeds Fest. I want to hear it from the architect herself. So Dani, talk to us a little bit about Proceeds Fest, how it came about, and how people can get involved.
Okay. Thank you so much for asking. So Proceeds Fest is something that the seed was planted a few years back. We were dancing in the park over, I think it's called Valley View Park. It's over off of like Green Hill and Maynard. We had a lovely dance, and afterward we were all like, you know, a lot of us love to camp and just do all sorts of different outdoor activities. And so the seed was planted that day of like, we should have a camping weekend. You know, we should go camping together and dance and camp and dance and camp. And we were just like, yes, let's do that. And so, shout out to Allison Altstadt for this, because she is the woman that really helped like nurture that seed over the years.
Allison, big shout out.
Thank you for making this possible.
Thank you.
She's the one who came up with the name, because it is, we were like, we should do it. She had said we should do it during the Perseids meteor shower. And I was like, that'd be amazing. We'd be able to, you know, enjoy that in this beautiful space out at Hickory Hills. And so it was really Allison who has made this all go from an idea to like, let's do it, you know, and let's make it happen. And so we jumped on it this last year. Was our first one. And so I think early in the spring, maybe, reached out to see if we could do that at Hickory Hills. And they said yes. And so we reserved the group camp area and just started, you know, brainstorming like, well, who else can we bring? Because we, like, along with dancing and along with camping, we have so many friends who have so much to offer that we love to do as well. And so right away it was like, well, maybe Mike Kwan will come and drum with us there too. And thank you for being a part of it last year. Appreciate it. I can't imagine it without you. And
around the fire.
Yeah. And
if I may, Allison deciding to have it at Hickory Hills was really like music to my ears.
yeah.
Because when I came back home from Egypt, after being in the desert for 11 years, living in a desert city for 11 years, and I loved it, So big shout out to Egypt. You guys were wonderful hosts. But when I came back home and I got reacclimated to our climate and our natural areas, my first stop was Hickory Hills. So like that first year back here in 2015, I was there, rain, sleet, snow. And I have pictures of that first year back, and I was just kind of basking in every season that it had to offer out there. And so when we connected and you told me it's going to be at Hickory Hills, I was like, oh man, I'm there.
Yeah.
You know, because mentally I'm already there because that's one of my favorite places. And we were talking before, Ashley, I don't know what it is about Black Hawk County, but our parks tend to be underused.
Yeah.
And that's a blessing and a curse, as Heather pointed out, because we want people to use them. But the blessing is that they're not overpopulated. We're not bumping into people over the trails. We're not.
So peaceful.
I once went out to Hickory Hills and I called it and made a reservation on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
On the
and
4th
you
of
can
July.
just
They were like,
get it. Yeah.
And I went out there and there were campers, RVs and things like that. The whole tent area basically to myself, you know. So it's a blessing and a curse. We want our people to get out and enjoy the facilities because we have some wonderful facilities out here in Black Hawk County, Hickory Hills being one of them. So
it's a beautiful place.
It is a beautiful place. So help us picture what's going to happen.
Yeah. So we have all sorts of awesome friends, including Ashley and Maikwan are going to be coming and sharing their offerings as well. So we'll get there on Friday. You can come. So first I should say, you can come for any part of it. It's all donation based with the exception of camping. If you're camping, then you'll need to bring money to pay directly to the park itself in our group camp area. But you can just do that on site with cash or check. But everything else is donation based.
Is that?
I want to say it's like $13 or something like that. It's something like that.
And it depends, if memory serves, it depends on, if you're in a tent, it's going to depend on if you have an electric post.
Yeah, I think we're just doing tents. We're just doing tents.
Okay,
so I think it's like 13.
Yeah,
I think it's like $13 per tent. And so I think it's something like that, somewhere between 12 and 15, I think.
Okay.
And so we're just you can come for any of the weekend. You can come out for an hour or you can come stay the whole weekend with us. We'll be out there starting Friday afternoon, getting set up. And you're kicking off with a drum circle Friday night. So, Friday night, drum night. Bring any shakers or instruments or drums. We'll be circling up around the fire and kicking off with a bit of unison in the beat. And then we'll hang out around the fire. Anyone who wants to stay and hang out and gaze at the stars, very mellow Friday night. Oh, I think we also have a chance to, if you want to come early and eat, we can also do kind of potluck style eating before the drumming. Hang out. We'll have stuff for s'mores, all this stuff. That's when the kids all just like, come in. That's their favorite part.
So one thing I'd like to add, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dani, we need to be prepared because it is a free will donation event.
Yes.
So people will, if you're staying, if you're tent camping and you're going to be there for the whole night, you will need to bring some supplies for yourself. So if you like coffee, or if you like, an afternoon ham sandwich with lettuce, then you need to bring those things.
Yeah.
We will have a breakfast.
Yes.
On Sunday morning, was it?
Well, Saturday and Sunday morning, we'll have a couple different options. Like I think one of the days it's going to be oatmeal, one of the days it's going to be pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
But then, it also very communal in that sense of and that was one of my favorite parts of last year too, was just seeing what everyone brought from flowers that were added to for just beauty, to the spread, to just all sorts of salads and different, just everything everyone brought to contribute to this communal meal was really cool too. So so feel free to bring stuff to share, or feel free to bring stuff that you will want for nourishment. Because it's very casual. Other than that, we'll have some activities and would love for you to participate in them. But otherwise, it's also a lot of just time to just be and enjoy the park and relax. And you can read a book, or you can go for a hike, or whatever you'd like. And then on Saturday, really just mellow wake up. I love it because people just kind of either go out for their hikes or roam around and enjoy the park, or congregate kind of around some coffee and some breakfast and hang out in that way. There isn't going to be the lake available this time around. They have drained and they're like doing a lot of construction work on the lake itself. And so that is completely dry this year. No water stuff this year, man. But we'll have a whole new lake for the next year. Absolutely. So for year 3, we'll have the kayaks and the paddle boards and the canoes and stuff like that all back out again, and fishing poles.
Oh, absolutely.
And so Saturday, let's see, I think our first activities start in the afternoon. I think we have hooping. Hooping is new this year. It's our new addition to First It's Best. That's our friend Brianna, who did some
Big
hooping.
Shout out. Yes, Brianna.
And
congratulations for the new baby.
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Bri.
And she is going to be coming out and doing hooping. She'll bring a bunch of hoops, so you don't need to have your own hula hoop. If you already have one, feel free to bring one out, but she'll have a ton of them available and guide us through that. That'll be super fun. Again, all of it's optional. And so feel free to participate, come over to the activities area to participate in activities, or go back to the other areas to just hang out too. Usually the kids are playing soccer or Frisbee or any of the other games that are kind of going around then too. And so we'll have hooping at 1:30 on Saturday. At 3:00, we have yoga with Sarah of New Dawn Yoga. She's amazing. Yeah. So she'll be leading a lovely yoga class out in the sunshine there, or in the shade. And then that's followed with Tim doing the sound bowls.
And I can't wait for that one, Tim.
Yeah.
I've heard wonderful things, and I can't wait for that one. I can't wait for all of it.
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 And then we'll have a dinner break. Again, feel free to share anything you'd like to share for kind of potluck style meals. We'll have some stuff available. We'll be bringing out the grill again. We'll have all sorts of different things going on. So we'll eat, and then we'll come back. We'll have Aya dancing at 7:00 on Saturday night, followed by drumming. And then we just have that lovely, this is one of my favorite parts. Well, they're all my favorite parts. Last year, one of my favorites was circling up around the fire, and people just were making music, singing songs, playing guitar, playing ukulele, hanging out, start adding drum beats. That's what it's about. It's just coming together with friendly people and doing the things we love to do, and letting it be a super family friendly place. All the kids come and join in, and community. It is. It feels good.
Absolutely. And again, kudos to you and your team for putting it together.
Thank you. Thanks for being the team.
About Sunday morning.
Right, and Sunday morning, yes, thank you. I'm just staying at the fire forever.
Before we get to Sunday morning, the drum event, we will be doing a bit of guided relaxation using our drum. So at the end of the night, on Saturday night after the drum circle, for those of us who are into that, we'll have some guided relaxation to end the night and head on to our tents or to our night hikes. Or whatever we're doing.
Yeah. Like the fireflies will be out usually. And it's just beautiful. The stars are amazing there. So this spot that we have, this group camp that we have, has this huge area where people can pitch tents. But then we also have this other area that has a fire pit and this beautiful grassy area that is just wide open to the sky, and it's just such a beautiful place to sit back.
And there are 2 trails
Yes. And then Sunday morning, we have a beautiful class. This is one that Sarah and I will be teaching. It'll be a combination Aya dance, and followed with Sarah leading yoga. And then that's going to be followed by Ashley leading an energy healing meditation. It was so beautiful last year, and it just feels so good. And so that's what's going to be wrapping up our event. And then people can stay as long as they'd like, Sunday through the afternoon if they'd like. Otherwise, packing up, heading out, whenever feels right.
And I know I'm going to be having to get out, not super early, but relatively early, because later on that afternoon, we will be down in Prairie Woods from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Oh, nice.
For our drum circle at Prairie Woods.
Perfect.
So all of our Cedar Rapids friends, hey, may as well make a day of it. Come on out to Proceeds Fest, and then we'll wrap up the weekend down in Prairie Woods.
It's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be a wonderful one.
Yeah.
So big shout out to you and your team. Big shout out to everybody involved, all of the brains that were involved in putting this event together. Big shout out. And the last thing that I'd like to talk a little bit about before you get out of here, Dani, we like to talk a bit about things that help us get through the day. You know, coping skills that work for us. Now, granted, we're not cookie cutter people. We're all individuals. We all have things that work for us that may not work for others. So for the folks out there that are looking for new things to put into their tool belts to help them cope through the day and the weeks and the months, you know, what would you like to share today?
Some of the things I do, well, dancing, definitely. It's like my main go-to for all the things. It just helps me release any stress and recenter and joy and be present. And so that helps me. It's also where I get that sense of connection with others. It's a creative outlet. So I get to be expressive and so dancing's my like number one for sure. But some other things I really like to do. I love to walk in the woods. We just have amazing, especially a dirt trail.
What is it about the woods?
Dirt trail. I don't know. It's magic.
There's something about the woods. You know, there's so many of us.
Get through the trees. Yeah. I love it so much. We're so lucky to have so many beautiful trail systems around here. Absolutely. That are quick and easy to get just minutes to get to. And so that's another one. I love being in the sunshine.
Okay.
So that's another thing that I love to do. Like I'll just sit and read a book in the sun, take a break midday and sit and read in the sun. Those are some of my my go-tos. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you for sharing those. So Ashley, Proceeds Fest. Sunday. Can't wait.
Everybody come. It's so fun.
Please,
everyone's really friendly.
Of the amount of time you can stay, like Dani said, come for a little bit, come for the whole weekend.
And if
even
if you've never done any of these things before, we're going to be excited to see you. You know, we are just happy to get to do these things with other friendly people. And so even if it's your first time ever coming to drum, you know, Myquan's so welcoming, and we'll just all learn together, and you know, all of it. You can do any of it, all of it.
If you don't have any instruments, he brings some too.
Yes, there are lots of instruments.
Or you could do none of it.
Yeah. So again, everyone's invited. If it sounds good to your heart, to come be outside with us and drum and dance and meditate and yoga or hoop or any of it, absolutely. The sound healing, any of it at all, you're invited. So
it's for you.
It's for you.
This is for your community.
Come try it out. And it's just, it's beautiful.
Absolutely. I second that. So wrapping this thing up, August 24th and August 25th, we will be back out at Wendigo's for the Fairy Experience, an immersive fantasy retreat. And I know I've talked about this retreat a little bit before, but I'm going to take the opportunity before we get out of here to talk about it again. Big shout out to Jessica Kettler out there at Wendigo Acres for putting this event together. And it is an absolute wonderful opportunity for you to get outside of yourself and dive into the world of fantasy for a day or however long you're going to be out there. Folks are encouraged to, get into it. I'm not going to say what I'm going to be, but so if you want to know what I'm going to be, you need to be out there.
You gotta go.
But I'm getting involved. My plan is it's going to be a fun looking, fantasy looking drummer. So if you're interested in what the fantasy drummer is going to look like from Fairy Retreat, make sure you're there. And, it's going to be a fun deal. And I encourage you all to come out as well. Jess is a wonderful hostess. Wendigo Acres is a fun place to be. It's really close, Chelsea, Iowa. If you're in Waterloo, I think that's 45 minutes.
Yeah, not too far.
Like that, under an hour.
Yeah.
So.
And it's so fun to dress up.
It is.
I mean, it's like the Halloween class. It's so fun to just
uplifted energy.
Yeah, to just be playful in that way.
Absolutely. folks are encouraged to be elves, trolls, gnomes,
Hobbits.
hobbits. No, I don't think. No, that was a different.
Oh, that was a different
She
one.
had
Okay.
hobbits and elves. That was a different.
Oh,
event.
okay.
This one is for the fairies, the gnomes, the mermaid sea creatures,
Okay.
and there's one more. What did I say? I said fairies, gnomes, mermaids, and dwarfs. No, not dwarfs. I'm making up shit. Edit this out. She's gonna kill me. Just gonna kill me. You know, we done just okay. All right. Well, hey, thank you, ladies. I really appreciate it. I appreciate it again, and thank you guys for tuning in to the Drum Iowa Network. It's been a great one. Deuces. All right.
And with that, my friend's brain is shut down.
Let's drum. We